Thank you for joining us for Responsible Restart Ohio for General Office Environments. This is presented by the Hardin County Chamber and Business Alliance. All the information presented in this video comes from coronavirus.ohio.gov. The projected start date for this sector is May 4th. As a note, each business should build a responsible restart plan that includes answers to all the mandatory requirements for your sector. Those will be presented here. Part 1. Mandatory requirements for employees and guests. Ensure minimum 6 feet between people. If that's not possible, install barriers. Alliance note. If you're looking for barriers to separate your employees, contact us for a local supplier. Face coverings are required while employers and employees are on the job, unless any of the following apply. An employee in a particular position is prohibited by a law or regulation from wearing a face covering while on the job. A face covering is not advisable for health purposes. Wearing a face covering on the job is against documented industry best practices. Wearing a face covering violates a company's safety policies. There is a practical reason a face covering cannot be worn. Or an employee is sitting alone in an enclosed workspace. If any of these exceptions apply to your business or one of your employees, written justification must be provided upon request. Employees must perform daily symptom assessment. Daily symptom assessments should include taking your temperature with a thermometer and monitoring for fever. Also watch for coughing or trouble breathing. Require employees to stay home if symptomatic. Require regular hand washing. Reduce sharing of work materials. Limit travel as much as possible. Recommended best practices for employees and guests. Customers and guests should wear a face covering. They are not required to wear a face covering. Enable natural workplace ventilation. Provide a health questionnaire for symptoms at entry. Develop a temperature taking protocol. Part 2. Mandatory requirements for physical spaces and workstations. Frequent disinfection of desks, workstations, and high contact surfaces. Daily disinfection of common areas. Cancel, postpone in-person events when social distancing guidelines cannot be met. Eliminate all cafeteria buffets. Utilize disposable tableware and other materials. Establish maximum capacity, for example, 50% of the fire code. Post your maximum capacity with signage. Recommended best practices for physical spaces and workstations. Redesign or space workstations for 6 feet or more distance. Close cafeteria and gathering spaces if possible, or conduct regular cleanings. Limit congregation in office spaces. Divide essential staff into groups and establish rotating shifts. Be sure to have an availability of at least 3 weeks of cleaning supplies. Part 3. Mandatory requirements for confirmed cases. Immediately isolate and seek medical care for any individual who develops symptoms while at work. Contact the local health district about suspected cases or exposures. Shut down the shop or floor for deep sanitation if possible. Recommended best practices for confirmed cases. Work with local health department to identify potentially infected or exposed individuals to help facilitate effective contact tracing and notifications. Once testing is readily available, test all suspected infections or exposures. Following testing, contact local health department to initiate appropriate care and tracing. Contact information for our local health department. The Kenton-Hardin Health Department can be reached by email at khhd@hardinhealth.org or by phone at 419-673-6230. All of the information in this presentation was taken from coronavirus.ohio.gov. It can be found under COVID-19, Responsible Restart Ohio, Sector-Specific Operating Requirements. Additional helpful information can be found at coronavirus.ohio.gov and at cdc.gov. If you have questions or concerns about the policies contained in this presentation, please submit them to us and we will share them with the Governor's office. You can email your questions or concerns to alliance@hccva.com. Thank you for joining us, and please stay safe as we begin the Responsible Restart Ohio.